Want to scale up one of the most underrated katanas in the game itself and making it into the most deadly poison katana build ever that you're going to see in Elden Ring. Well, today I'm going to be showing you guys what you need to do, exactly where you need to go to be able to make this Serpentbone blade poison katana the most deadly poison weapon in the game itself, because we are going to be taking advantage of all the attributes that this weapon has. And you're asking yourself, how can I do that? If you like how that sounds, a thank you is much appreciated. You will see the button right below the video itself. It says thanks, and it's much appreciated. Now let's dive in. As you see, this is pretty much a katana. Now you're asking yourself, how can I take advantage of this? Well, one of the things that this katana has is that, as you see, this is pretty fast. And another good thing that it has about it is a strong attack that, as you see, that is, it does a double swing to it. And then on top of this is very easy to remember, which is pretty much the whole movement of the Rivers of Blood, which is probably the deadliest katana ever. But we are going to make this Serpentbone blade poison katana also an amazing weapon that you will love to run through all the different type of foes, because it's going to deal a lot of poison damage. But the best thing about it is that you are not going to rely on the poison itself. That is not going to be the first thing on it. We're going to be doing here is we are going to rely on the mechanics of the weapon itself, which will trigger the second damage, which is the poison, and is going to make this weapon a lot of fun to play with. Now, as you guys know, there are two types of poisons in the game. There is deadly poison, and there's also regular poison. I am showing you guys here a quick example of what the difference between the two of them do. Now, the katana itself, this one is a deadly poison weapon, because what happens is that once you trigger the poison itself, is going to last for about 30 seconds. Now, if you see here in the video, I am showing you guys exactly what happens. What happens with this katana is that I am triggering 31 points per second. Now, the buff on it will last for 30 seconds. So as you see here, I am pretty much dealing about 930 damage just on poison. And I am not even taking advantage yet of what the actual weapon does. Now, if we see regular poison and we do the same thing that you are seeing here in the video itself, I am doing 15 points per 90 seconds, which equals to 1,350 points itself in about 90 seconds. Now, if I were to do this with the deadly poison, which the katana has itself, I am going to trigger 2,790 points in about 90 seconds, which is going to be ridiculous. A lot more. You're talking about over almost 100% more damage than a regular poison. So you see what the difference is between deadly poison and poison itself. So now that we got that out of the way, and we know that the katana is very deadly because it has deadly poison, now we are going to do the following, which we are going to take advantage of a couple of things that the katana itself has, which are the following thing. First of all, we are going to use the following talismans. As you see here, since this is a poison katana, we are going to take advantage of the Kindred of Rods Exhalation talisman, which says poisonous or rod in vicinity increases attack power. Now, this is only going to trigger when poison is in effect. But before we get to that, we are going to take advantage of what the katana itself it does. And one of the things that we are going to be able to do is greatly raises attack power with successive attacks, which is the Rotten Wing Sword Insignia, which is a talisman that takes advantage of attack power with successive attacks. And then the next talisman, the Miscellaneous Prosthesis, which boosts dexterity, raises attack power with successive attacks. Okay, so this is what's happening, guys. So I know math is probably not none of our favorite subject in school, but this one here is going to deal 30% damage. This one here, the Millicent, is going to deal 20% damage. So if you hear me out already, we are going to be dealing so far 50% additional damage because the katana itself, since it's like the Rivers of Blood that you are able, 5 hits in a row. So automatically that is going to trigger these 2 talismans to come into effect, and it's going to give us 50% damage. Now, on top of this, once the poison takes effects, which it does in about 2 hits, then we are going to throw this one in, which is going to deal 20% additional damage. And the great thing about, first, these 2 talismans that you are seeing here in the that I'm pointing, is that they are stackable, so you are able to use those, and it's going to increase your damage. The Serpentbone blade causes poison buildup of 66. Now, guys, if you want to throw in just one more thing into this build itself and just make it the most ridiculous, because I have to say this, and throw in the Mushroom Crown, this one's going to deal a 10% additional damage, which we're talking about 80% damage overall that you are going to be able to trigger, because this katana deals deadly poison overall. And just to think about it like this, guys, if I'm were to take down that foe right in front of me and I keep hitting him over and over, every 30 seconds that my poison finishes, I'm also going to trigger it again every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, I'm going to have an additional, every second, 31 points extra damage dealing to that foe, which why this build is such an OP, because we are taking advantage of all the mechanics that the Serpentbone blade does. So the big question is, am I going to be able to take down enemies really easy with this katana and just have it a nice way in dealing a lot of damage? Yes and no. You are not going to be able to just one shot and kill every single foe in the game itself with this build or this katana itself. But what is going to happen is that you are going to take advantage of poison to the best of its abilities, and you are going to have a lot of fun using poison. And yes, poison is very underrated, and it doesn't get a lot of love in Elden Ring, but I have a feeling that in the next update that might just change, and maybe they buff the poison a little bit more. And then now, if you guys don't have this katana, don't worry about it. I have in my description the following locations for this Serpentbone blade, also the Mushroom Crown, and on top of this 3 talismans. You are going to be able to find all of those in the description. Just check out the description, and then you are going to be able to find the location for each of them. Now, I have a question for you guys, and I would love to know the answer from you guys. What do you think, based on what I explained to you? Is deadly poison better than regular poison? Let me know in the comment section below. Once again, guys, check out this video over here that shows another amazing katana build that you are going to fall in love with.